What's up guys? Welcome to the new year and the new build. Building a tracked vehicle, mini Ripsaw. It's inspired by the Howe and Howe brothers. They built the Ripsaw tank. It's gonna have snowmobile tracks. It's got Polaris 2003 RMK 800 two-stroke snowmobile engine, about 100 plus horsepower with reverse. It's got this cool electronic reverse that actually spins the crankshaft backwards, because normally the reverse is in the chain case of a snowmobile and I'm not using the chain case. So the power is going to go to the stock CVT transmission and then to a drive line to this 2002 Lexus RX 300 rear end. It's going to be welded and it's going to send the power out to both sides equally. It's going to go to this disc right here, this rotor. And these are actually, this is a clutch setup. It's not, these aren't brakes right here. So the power is going to go through these calipers when they're pressurized, and it's going to send power to the track. So to pressurize the calipers, it's going to have a rotary coupling on the end of the shaft. It's going to have a little frame arm that comes out, and it's going to have a fixed mount here. So when you pressurize the calipers, it locks up and it's going to drive the cart. So there's some advantages to having a locked system where both tracks are locked like this, opposed to an open differential track system where you have brake steering. On that system, only under ideal conditions do you get power to both tracks. If you're going up a slippery hill, one track's probably going to start spinning at some point and the vehicle's going to start turning and you're going to hit the brake you're going to be constantly fighting to get optimum traction, where this setup's going to be locked up. When you want to make a turn, say you're going 20 miles an hour and you want to turn, the way it's going to be set up on the steering wheel or steering yoke, it's going to have a shaft with cams on it. So going straight, the cams are going to be pressurizing the master cylinder, which is going to have both tracks locked up. When you want to make a turn, you're going to turn the wheel. The cam grind is going to disengage this master cylinder. It's going to unlock whichever side or the opposite side you want to turn. And then if you give it some throttle, there'll be a differential and you'll turn. Or if you want to do an aggressive turn, you can turn the steering wheel more and some cams will engage another master cylinder. There's going to be a brake rotor here in caliper, so there'll be brake steering and throttle steering. The axle is an 1.5 inch hollow axle, 1.5 inch bearings. These are CBR 1000 calipers. It's a Kawasaki rotor. I was thinking about running the floating rotor that comes on the CBR system, and there is actually a slight misalignment here. I think when I put the rear end in, I didn't align it perfect, and when this spins around a few times, it kicks the brake pads back out about an 1/8 inch, and so you have to pump the brakes to get them to work again. So that's a little issue that has to be worked out. But with the floating rotor, it could compensate for some of that misalignment. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the mini Ripsaw build. Frame part 1. Got the frame rails cut out, the cross members that the trailing arms for the road wheels are gonna go to and pivot off of, and a couple other braces. Alright, so we're lining the rear end for the build. This is one of the most critical alignments of the build. I've got these lasers set up on each side that are going right through the center of the bearing, each bearing all the way through. And so when I align it, I want to get the laser to point right in the middle of here. Machining job looks like a pile. system. Normally the snowmobile engine goes to a chain case with about roughly a 2-to-1 gear reduction, and then to the track. This setup's gonna have a 3-to-1 reduction at the rear end, roughly. I haven't checked it exactly, but that's 1/3 lower gearing, which is gonna give it more throttle response, and it doesn't need to go 80 miles an hour. I mean, 50 miles an hour is what I'm hoping to get it up to, but even at that speed, I mean, you could die probably in a crash. So one main concern that you're gonna have with a tracked vehicle is the tracks coming off or binding up at high speed and locking up. So I'm gonna have a track adjustment bolt, as well as motocross front forks for the front idlers, and normally they're going to be compressed under normal driving conditions, but say you go over a jump and you land and the track slacks, the forks will extend to take up that slack. Because when you go in reverse, it puts the tension on the top of the track, and so if you had spring suspension in the front, it would compress that when you went in reverse, and it would leave slack on the back of the drive sprocket, which is not good. So there's a lot of things to think about. I've built a tracked vehicle before, and you could have all the ideas in the world about how you're going to keep your tracks on, but until you go out and test it, you don't know. I've had my tracks come off a lot of times on this other tracked vehicle I built. There's a few videos on the channel. I probably redesigned it 6 different times, and they still come off once in a while, but not as much. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll have another video out on this soon.